Hey, this is Matt Kelly, and first thing in the morning when I wake up, I want to get some breakdowns for breakfast.
Good morning. Welcome back to another episode of Breakdowns for Breakfast. I am your host, Danger, and joining me is a fellow that I cannot properly break down an album without, your co-host, Monster. Say hi, Monster.
Hello. I apologize in advance if my computer starts acting slow. I think I'm running out of memory. I meant to swing by Best Buy or Walmart or at least put in an order to Amazon because I think I might need a new SIM card.
I don't think you put SIM cards in your computer. That may be the reason why your computer's slow, because you're putting a SIM card in your computer.
Oh, that you might be right. That could be problem number one.
And on this episode of Breakdowns for Breakfast, we are going to be talking about the album from the band SiM, their album Playdead, that was released September 27th, 2023. Now, SiM is our first Japanese band. Mm-hmm. We've done bands from all over the world, but we have yet to do a Japanese band. So tonight is the night that we kind of pop that cherry, if you will. And so here we are. Now, I really want to know, okay, first, do you know what SiM stands for?
Silence is mine.
Yes, and that's I-Z, not I-S.
There's a lot of funny spelling involved with this band.
There is. So the name of the band is SiM, S-I-M, and it's stylized capital S, lowercase I, capital M.
Yes.
And there's all sorts of those kinds of shenanigans in the track listing titles and whatnot. So, yeah. Now, I have a question for you. Mm-hmm. Why did you bring this, what was labeled as Japanese metalcore band, to me?
Well, I think obviously this is a rhetorical question because I'm supposed to give an appropriate answer, but you listen to it. You know good and damn well why I brought this to you. I love this shit.
Yeah, I know you do. Okay, so listening to this, because my brain is a terrible place for anybody to be, especially myself. I thought about an old commercial for Reese's peanut butter cups, and it was. If I remember correctly, it was like a claymation animated type commercial. And it was like you saw one person walking with an open jar of peanut butter because that's the type of psychotic behavior people did in that universe. And then you saw a person walking, the person with peanut butter was like, left to right on the screen. The person with the chocolate was right to left. And then they met at a corner, crashed into each other. And it was, you got peanut butter in my chocolate. And the other guy was like, you got chocolate on my peanut butter. Yeah. And it, started to get a little miffed about it, and then they decided to eat it because that's what you do when you crash into people, is you eat the chaos of things. And they loved it, and it was great. And if I were to say that this is a peanut butter cup of some kind, it would be a Reese's peanut butter cup that you buy at a salvage store that should have been taken off the shelf 4 years ago.
Yeah,
because this is new reggae, new reggae.
That's part of it. That is definitely part of it. There's a lot of that in here. This reminds me, the only other band I could think of that comes close is Skindred, because they also have this mix of nu metal riffs with reggae ska beats, and I had a feeling you wouldn't like it because I've come to learn that if it's fun and we're having a good time, you're not going to like it very much, which is wild to me because this album is so much fun. Like, you cannot deny that this is fun. Like, what is it about this that is making you say negative things?
I like the metalcore part of things. I actually think they're really good at those things. But the issue that I have with this is, okay, one, I have determined that I just don't like reggae music. I just don't like reggae.
Fair enough.
Kind of like I think it was on the Hippos album episode where I just said, I just don't like ska. Like, it's just not something. Yes, there are, occasionally a reggae band comes out or a ska band comes out where I'm like, hey, there's something different about that and I like it. Okay. I like my metal. I like my metal. I don't like all metal because there is some, shitty metal out there. Sure. Just like there is shitty of any genre. But when you take a genre of music that I absolutely don't like and you put it into something that I do like, so you have two people. One person's a positive person. One person's a negative person.
It's just like our show. Right.
Right. Yeah. I'm the positive. You're the negative. So
not even close.
I feel like if this show was a battery and I was a positive, you were a negative side, it'd be like a weird watch battery that stopped being made in like 1982. And, anyway, I told you my brain's a terrible place and nobody should be there, especially me. Yeah.
Right now, your brain reminds me of one of those wristwatches that you have to wind to get it to work, and it has not been wound very tightly.
No, I wouldn't say I'm wound tight tonight, but anyway. So, okay. I love my metal. I don't like reggae. And so when you create a band that does things that I like and then suddenly switches to something I don't like, I like the things that I liked less than I did before. It's like like I was saying, you have two people, one's a positive person, one's a negative person. It's almost like it takes more effort for the positive person to bring the negative person up, but it's easier for the negative person to bring the positive person down. And that's the most I've ever said negative and positive, and it's been this amount of time. Anyway.
Yeah. And I guess I see what you're saying, but maybe it's the 311 guy in me or something that I hear reggae. Oh, there's absolutely reggae in this, but it is.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like one of the 9 other genres that I hear, because I also hear metalcore. I also hear nu metal. I also hear pop punk. I also hear skate punk. Yes, there's a little bit of reggae in here, but I would not classify this as, as far as like a list of genres go, I would not put reggae at the top of that genre, at the top of that list.
I would. See, I heard, I heard pop punk more in the drums. And I do point that out at certain points in here. And I didn't mind the drumming here. I actually thought the drumming was on point and it was good here. And it was one of those things where I just didn't put the note on every song because I was putting it on so many that, I thought the drummer was on point. Musically, this band is very talented. Mm-hmm. Are they doing what I like? Not all the time.
Sure.
But I can tell they are very talented and very skilled at what they do. And, I know that the Japanese culture is to super excel at what you're trying to do. So, they do it. Fine.
You mentioned the drums, the bass player is, like you said, everybody in this band is super, super talented. Even if you don't necessarily love what they're doing, like they're really good at doing it.
Yeah. So like the vocals, like I didn't mind the vocals a lot of times, but there were certain times where it was like, it's just not sitting right with me. And actually, I kind of started to place it with, after listening to it a couple of times, it was like, this sounds like if the lead singer from Billy Talent were to have headed up a project like this. And that's fine. I mean, and I didn't love his voice either. The more I listened to it, the more I was okay with it. The more I was, came around to it, warmed up. And I would like to say the same thing for him, but I kind of feel like on certain songs he does better. On other songs he isn't good. I don't really like him there. Yeah, I don't know. Every time I liked something, they'd started doing something I didn't like.
Interesting. Talking about the singer, kind of one of the reasons I specifically chose this album versus some of their other stuff, because I've actually, funny story, I was like, I pinpointed the exact moment that I discovered this band. And it was back in 2017 when I made a post on my Facebook page about, I love it when the YouTube algorithm shows me something that I like. And that was when I saw the video for Killin' Me, which actually came off of their 2011 album. So it was like, as soon as I saw that video, I went down the rabbit hole and was like, okay, this band is cool. I mean, again, talking about mixing of the styles, I've mentioned this on tons of episodes. I love hybrid bands. I love bands that mix a bunch of different genres.
I know you do.
Yeah. So for me, this is right up my alley. Plus, it's got a lot of energy. It's got a lot of real heavy moments. But I specifically, there's something about the production on this album that I really, really like. The guitar tones, the power behind a lot of it. Some of their older stuff, I think some of the songs might be a little better in some places, but the overall sound on this one, I think, is probably the best they've ever sounded. And specifically the singer, there are a couple moments of auto-tune on this album that they use, not because they have to. It's a stylistic thing. They're just doing it to make a wacky sound. There used to be more of that on some of their older stuff. And that, to me, is some of the vocals that I kind of don't love. So I like that they use it a little less in this.
Okay. And, I did pick up on a couple of places where it was used. I think I made a note on one of them. I don't know. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. We'll find out when we get there. But yeah, I don't know. I like ham sandwiches and I like peanut butter sandwiches, but I want a ham and peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah, but see, this doesn't feel like ham and peanut butter to me. Like, this feels like you're at a sports bar for a football game or something, and you're having a potluck, and somebody's got pizza, somebody's got chicken wings, somebody's got Italian sliders. Like, there's all these different things. You like all of them. You don't want to eat the whole pizza. You don't want to eat 12 wings, but you want a little bit of everything. That was a bad analogy. I would eat 12 wings as well, and probably the entire pizza. But what I mean is, like, I get what you're saying. This is another one of those times where I think we're both kind of saying the same thing. It's just I like it and you don't. And sometimes it's the other way around.
Yeah, the Pantera episode that we did, it's like we were both saying the same thing, but we were having very different responses to it. And I feel like that's going to be the same thing here. Now, yes, nu metal is definitely within this, and the thing about it is I feel like it was more of like the new core type stuff that we've talked about a lot, where it's like it's the nu metal influenced metalcore type stuff. And I actually have come to the point where I actually really enjoy that stuff. You know, I'm not a lover of nu metal as you are, but you know, you're going to find that album. I doubt it, but you're going to try.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
All right. So, you know, I did hear pop punk. I did, you know, put, you know, the note of there's definitely punk drums on this one and whatnot, but it was just the overwhelming reggae sound that kept showing up. And it's almost like the other things that were happening were overshadowed by a reggae part of things. And it's like I was missing certain things. I found myself missing, and I found them on repeat listens and whatnot, that I was missing these things that were happening because I was so like thrown off by this reggae insert into things.
One thing I wanted to point out too, you mentioned that like new core kind of thing. Yes, but also they released their first album in 2008. So they have obviously grown and changed and tried some stuff and all that kind of thing like any band does. But this has pretty much been them from the jump. It's always been a mix of, like you said, like chuggy riffs and punk beats and ska and reggae elements. There's also a lot of like hardcore two-step that's in the rhythms there too, which again, I feel like they're meshing these things coherently, and it never feels like it. This is the kind of album I have a lot of fun with the first time I listen to it, because you just never know what the next section's going to do. It could go into, like I said, like a hardcore two-step. It could go into a metalcore breakdown. It could go into just a bouncy ass nu metal everybody jump section. And then after you listen to it a few times, it's not jarring. You're like expecting it, and it becomes just fluid and fun. So for me, this is great. Like, I'm having a great time. I don't think every song is perfect. I think there's a few songs that kind of rise above and are tighter and better. But just like generally speaking, this is right up my alley, like all the way up.
Oh, I knew it was. As soon as I started listening to this, I was like, this is monster through and through. I mean, if you could take a nu metal and a 311 and smash them together, that's purely monster. That's fine. I'm not going to say that I hated everything here, because I certainly didn't. Yeah. You know, I don't know who it is that's doing the growling on here, but he has a fantastic growl. Like, you know, it's one of those that's like,
same guy.
It's not over.
I'm pretty sure that's the same vocalist. He does the screaming, the singing, there's not a lot of rapping on this one. He does some rapping on some of the other ones. There's a little bit here or there, but yeah, he's a versatile dude.
No, he is. I mean, if he's doing the screaming as well, you know, my hat's off to him. I was expecting it to say the person, especially considering how different they are from each other. But I don't know, his singing vocal, I wasn't in love with it. There were certain places where I felt a lot better about it, but it was almost like they had a different singer on certain songs. And, you know, that's fine.
Yeah, he's got a bit of that like nasally thing. And I mean, like I was complaining about Vic from Pierce the Veil. I don't like a super nasally singer, but somehow he's nasally but still forceful. Like, it never feels whiny. Even if he is nasally, he doesn't sound whiny. And I think that's why I like him. And then, like you said, he might sing that way for a little bit, and then it goes into another part where he, you know, goes into the growl. And it's like, yes, you know. Yeah, I mean, I think he's really cool. Did you happen to get a chance to watch any music video, a live performance, anything like that?
So I did, I don't know if I watched any music videos from this album because
Okay.
I was just wanting to get an idea from, I think there was like one or two that were just kind of showing on that sidebar on Spotify, but I did see a live performance and it's a huge crowd. And I don't know if it was at a festival or what, but they're huge in Japan from what I understand.
They're huge just about everywhere but America. They're legitimately like, I think they have close to 2 million monthly listeners on Spotify, which is, pretty high for this style of band, But yeah, so that's what I was going to say was one of the fun things is the live performance, the music videos. These dudes have a ton of energy, and that to me just makes the songs even more fun because they're dancing all over the stage, jumping all over the place. Like you can tell they are having fun too.
Yeah, I was curious about when I saw that. I saw how active they were live, and I was curious about when they got together, how old they might be, and I really couldn't find much information on the band.
Me neither, not without doing some serious digging and probably being able to read Japanese a little bit. Couldn't find a whole lot either.
Google Translate.
Yeah, well, that's true. But we also still have day jobs, so there's only so much we can do.
That's true.
Because, yeah, if you go to their Wikipedia...
If more of you people would listen, we wouldn't have to have day jobs, and we could dive full on into the... I'm really surprised anybody listens. I appreciate listeners who keep coming back.
Yeah, really. But, yeah, if you look at, their Wikipedia, it's mostly just the discography and sort of a little bit about each album. But yeah, this is a band that I have been like kind of keeping up with since, like I said, 2017. Yeah, since like 2017. And every time they put out something new, I always check it out. I love watching their music videos. Sometimes when I'm just like bored before I go to bed, I'll just put on like 3 or 4 of these music videos because it's just like, yeah, okay, I feel good now.
See, if I were to put on 2 or 3 of these music videos before bed, I would want to go to bed so I could stop listening to it.
Well, that's fine because, like I said, and I sound like a broken record, but I just like fun more than you.
All right, you want to talk about the people in this band?
Yes, and what's nice about this is, yes, they are Japanese names, but they also are like stage names.
Right. I'm not going to attempt the Japanese names because I attempted it like before we sat in to record early this afternoon. I was like, I'm going to practice this to try to get the names out. Nah, it's not happening.
That's fair.
All right.
They made ignorant American names for us to say.
They did. All right. So on vocals, we have Ma, M-A-H. On guitar, keyboards, and backing vocals, we have Shohate. And I'm wondering if actually if Shohate does the screaming, instead of Ma.
He does some. Like if you watch some videos or live performances, yes, but it is mostly just the lead singer.
Okay, then on bass and backing vocals, we've got Sin.
Dude,
and then on drums and backing vocals, everybody does vocals here. Mm-hmm. We've got Gordy with a lowercase I. Everything is capital except for that I.
Well, you said the
We're
thing
back to
about
that stylized things, yeah.
Yeah, we don't even need to get into that with the actual track listing because like every one of them has some kind of a odd spelling choice. But you mentioned the thing about that's what people come to want from us. They deep song analysis, but also spelling and grammar errors.
Yes, we're going to have a spin-off show called Breakdowns of Song Titles.
Oh, God, no. So the thing you were saying about everybody has a backing vocal credit, there's a lot of gang vocals on here. There's a lot of parts where, all 4 guys are doing a hey, 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 or in one part it kind of sounds like they're barking, which is kind of fun, but...
I missed the barking.
Oh, we'll get there.
Oh, I know we will. All right, and I didn't get who the producer was in this album. I couldn't find that information. I don't really know if the producer on this one really matters to this conversation.
No, I don't think
it's
really...
very well mixed and whatnot, but yeah.
Like I said earlier, that's one of the reasons I picked this album versus some of the other ones. I think they're all of them are like this. They're all a mix of all these styles. Some have little tighter songs than others, blah, 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 blah. They actually have a song called blah, blah, blah. So, but I specifically picked this one 2 reasons. Number 1, it's their most recent. And then number 2, I feel like the production on this one is just bigger and badder. And I knew you had never heard these guys before, and I thought
Nope.
this would be the best introduction. Without like sitting down and really doing this with all of their albums, I'm not going to say this is their best or not their best. It's definitely one of my favorites. But I think for a newcomer, this is a real good one to show them and just to see, like, to gauge your interest, I guess you could say.
Okay, no, that's fine. I'm going to tell you, I'm not interested.
That's fine. That's fine. And as we have this conversation, it'll be really funny as we go song by song as I gush and you weep.
That's fair. All right, you ready to go song by song?
I am.
All right, let's talk about track 1, Playdead.
Life and death, why have I been chosen? My last breath, keep my eyes open wide.
All one word. All
Don't do
capitalized.
this. Don't do this. You don't have to do this.
It's spelled P-L. Okay. All right. I like the intro on this one. And I felt like this was actually kind of a misleading song because I feel like this doesn't represent what the rest of the album is, because I feel like, okay, so I'm going to go tell you, I really enjoy the beginning and end of this album. Everything else in the middle was just really hard to get through.
Interesting. Okay.
So yeah, Playdead, I do like that intro, but what I appreciated about this one was they waited till 23 seconds for the vocals to finally start.
Mm-hmm.
And why I like that is because a lot of times we get these intros that just come in real quick and don't really match the song.
Mm-hmm.
While I feel like they did a good job here of giving, while the first sounds we hear don't match the song, they give time to create the song from that sound. And I appreciate that.
This was the first time since we've started this show that I thought this is an intro that got out of hand, but it sort of works.
Right. No, I fully agree with you there. I mean, I don't feel like it needed to be that long, but they did a good job with it.
It's almost like half a song. It's almost like it's the intro to the album, but it's also just like you've got the intro, you got the verse, you got the chorus, and instead of them repeating it and making it a full song, they just stop there. They just say, hey, we had a couple of fun ideas and we decided to start the album off with this, and I like it. Like, I think I don't agree or disagree with your statement about how it sets you up for something that you don't get, because it, like, you're not wrong, but I also don't think this like sounds out of place or anything like that.
No, I don't think it sounds out of place, but I don't feel like this was the best opener because I don't feel like this represents what the rest of the album is, because while we do get this sound in parts of the songs throughout the album, we don't get a song that sounds like this again. And that was kind of a weird thing to me. But I knew as soon as 45 seconds hit that you were going to love this one. Like, this was your album, because it definitely turns into a new metal song at 45 seconds.
Life and death, why have I...
Well, yeah, so again, even though this is like a short little thing, I think it does have a lot of pieces that they're going to implement throughout the record. And I actually think this does work pretty well as an intro now that I'm thinking about it, because it does have what you're going to get, but it sort of eases you into a lot of those things. Like, because you said the thing about, 43 seconds when kind of like when the vocals come in and you kind of got that groove, but then 108 when they hit you with that just straight up new metal riff.
Slipping away, yeah.
It's like, yes, but then you've got the big bright chorus after that. So it's like all the things that they're going to do amped up later, they're just giving you sort of a mild taste of it here.
I guess I can see that here. I do feel like his vocals were better on this one. I actually did like his vocals. I mean, the growls do return. We get them in the beginning and then they come back later in the song. I didn't get timestamps on those, but I do feel like his vocals were a little bit more sultry in this intro. And I was and that's another reason why I felt like maybe this wasn't the best representation of the rest of the album, because I do feel like his vocals were different here, and then we don't get that for a couple tracks. And I kind of felt like that was almost setting up for just disappointment in different ways. And I went back to this one several times, even like sitting down listening to it. I went back to this track and trying to find where this was elsewhere in the album, and it's just not there. Yes, they do have pieces of this within the rest of the album, but not this song, not this kind of song.
I disagree. I feel like we get a little taste of this in the very next song, actually.
Okay, so let's talk about that song. Track 2, Red. All capitals. 3 capital. Okay.
Stop it. People
All right,
can look at the Spotify and see that. You don't have to tell them.
They could, but if they just went to our episode and they were looking at our episode, they don't know that the tracks are stylized in different
And they care.
different capitals.
And they care deeply.
If we care, they care. Okay. Yeah, again, I'm really surprised any of you come back and listen.
We got to start recording these earlier.
Yeah. All right. So I do like the intro of this one, that Asian instrument. I couldn't find what the name of it was. I also like that the instrument doesn't go away once the song kicks in.
No, yeah, it's just they mix that real heavy. And see, that guitar tone right there during that like opening riff. The opening riff is fine. I describe it as sturdy. It's not necessarily like the coolest
I like
riff
that
I've ever
sturdy
heard.
riff.
Yeah, it's a sturdy nu metal riff. But that guitar tone, God, I love that guitar tone. It's not that weird machine sound that we get a lot. And like you mentioned that new metal core, like new core stuff. See, that's what's really different here is a lot of it's in the tone, because this doesn't sound like Slaughter to Prevail or God, I don't know.
I'm glad it doesn't. I don't really like Slaughter to Prevail.
Specifically the guitar tone. Like a lot of these new core kind of bands have that Mick Gordon kind of guitar tone that almost sounds like otherworldly. This sounds like a gnarly ass guitar. And so I really just love that guitar tone. Now, this I will say, the first verse of this song I find to be a little bit busy. I like what they're doing, but I could see someone like you not being super into the mixing of some of these things, being like, okay, settle down, guys. That's a lot happening.
1, 2, hey. Now you listen to the sound of the rebel. One blast coming through in the cities and ghettos. A treasure box always be found.
Yeah, no, this one, the amount of what was happening, like I could calm myself enough to like hear, like, okay, everything is there. But it's like, it was so busy, I couldn't keep myself calmed for too long before it was like, okay, this is too much going on. And especially since I just didn't like his reggae vocal that he was doing.
Oh, a therapist. He's a bit crazy. No, I'm not pissed. Feel free to hate me, but you gotta stop fussing.
I just didn't like that. I don't know. I like his vocal better in the chorus because I think it's got a really catchy chorus.
Okay, so that's what I was going to say. I think I like the sturdy opening riff. The first verse is fine. But once we get to that chorus, from the chorus to the end of this song, 100% in. I think that chorus is huge. It's catchy. It soars.
Tell me why to divide anything to pieces. Tell me.
And then I think the second verse is way better than the first verse.
Okay, but after the chorus, there's this like little clip that, not like sound clip, but it's like the guitar does something fun. I don't know. I just remember it being a like, oh, I like this part. And then the verse picks up and we get I feel like we get less reggae music, but we get his reggae style vocal again.
Yeah, he
And
still has that like dance hall delivery kind of to his voice.
I'm gonna make your wisdom flow. Your life is complicated more than.
Yeah, and it just, I just don't like it. I just don't like it. I don't know.
That's fine.
Then we get the bridge at 2:35.
Tell me why can we be friends? Why can
And I think the bridge on this one is a really solid bridge, except his damn reggae vocal. Like I thought everything else that was going on was really good, except for his vocal.
So
But then, go on.
Well, I was going to say, so for me, I like before that. So at 2:13, when he starts getting into that, like I love his vocal there. And then if you listen right after that at 2:21, you hear the first little extra funky little bass, not solo, but just like a couple little extra bass notes. And then you've got like some other like kind of like sweepy guitar synth stuff. I love all that. I will agree, after that, when it goes into the next section where he does, like you said, has the dance hall voice is real like up front. But it's so short that it doesn't bother me. Like if it went on for too many more measures, I would have been a little bit more like, okay, wrap it up. But I think it's cool.
Okay, so those little bass pieces you're talking about, they're all throughout this album.
Yes.
And so I was calling them bass nuggets because it's not a run.
I
it's
like
not a
that.
solo. Yeah, bass nuggets.
He
it's
has
just this little,
one.
Like,
I think he has like one full chicken leg, but most of them are nuggets. He's got one quarter piece or something. I don't know what you want to call it. He's got one that's a little extended, but you're right. It's mostly just like a real quick, like, boodle-doo-doo-doo-doo, and then it's on to the next thing.
right. Like it's mostly nuggets, but we do get a thigh in there. And, that's fine. Okay. I really like the riff that happens at the end of the bridge.
Uh-huh.
Tell me, don't you dance with me? Why are you always telling me?
But that's one of the things that I realize, probably in the next song. I know I do point it out. There's one song that's really bad about it, but it's like they do these like things where it's like, oh, that's really cool. And then you're going to do something different now. And it's like they gave me this really cool riff. And then I think they go back to the chorus did they go back to the chorus? I don't know. I just remember not liking what was happening after that.
They do the chorus one more time, and then they end the song with the intro riff, with the sturdy riff and sort of the like Asian, accompaniment. I agree that they do jump from piece to piece, but I disagree that they do it too fast, because that, when we did Pierce the Veil, I kept complaining about how everything just happens so fast. Like they might do like this cool little section, but it's over in a couple of seconds and they're on to the next thing, and they may come back to it. They may not. This is structured a little more normally. So I don't know. Like I feel like all the pieces fit like we were just talking about that sort of like bridge section where it kind of dips down. I feel like had that gone on any longer, I would have started to lose interest. But for the length that it was like, oh, that's cool.
All right. I mean, that's fine. Let's talk about track 3, Hide and Seek.
On this wicked track, come on, ready or not, here I come. Boom, baby, bye, bye, bye. I'll be a nightmare, come on, tell me, down, down, down. Why should I
get that this band likes their intros, and I'm fine with that because I like a good intro. And I actually think the intros were probably the best part of this album, because now we get a siren drum roll. But then it like slowly chugs up, and then it kicks into chugs. And I thought that was cool. I thought that was a cool move. And that's one of the things about this album, again, that they start doing something I like or something I thought was interesting, and then suddenly they don't, because then they go into that verse, and the verse on this was just terrible.
Oh yeah.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know you don't like that verse, and that verse is fantastic. But before we get there, because this has become a staple of mine, you got the siren, you got the drum roll, it's building and building. It has to kick into something good. And it kicks into this riff. That I have in my notes, yes, injected into my veins. I love this opening riff. That is like my bread and butter. I love it. I absolutely love it. And the fact that it doesn't go into what you would expect it to. It go like this riff is just gnarly as hell, and then it pauses, and these horns, bam, 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 bam.
Nothing can force me to love you. I'm sick of you. I knew this to be true.
Like, what is happening? And so again, I get that you're not a fan of like reggae and dance hall and all that, but again, the 311 guy in me, it kicks into that riff, just makes sense. Like it doesn't feel out of place to me. It feels like, sure, why not go into that?
Okay, I want to go back to the beginning of that statement that you made, that it's become a staple of yours. You can't staple yourself. You can't say like, this is a staple of mine. No,
it's not like a nickname that I also gave myself for this show. It's like, I'm saying I have said it several times. Like there's usually like a moment on every album, especially the ones that I bring, where I have a heroin reference, which is not a great look, but it isn't. There's something on every one of these that's like, I need it now.
Well, I mean, considering that heroin is rather prevalent in the ska community,
that's not. But
you got nothing. You got nothing. Just don't. Okay, the chorus is fun on this one. I do enjoy the chorus.
Come on, tell me down, down, down. Why should I take?
Especially the growl at the end.
Yes.
Here I come, ready or not.
This has a good chorus. I don't think it's quite as catchy as Red, but I do think it is a solid chorus. But I also think at 2:29, when you get to that bridge solo section, I think that's beautiful. See, that's what I like. And I talked about this on one of every other album that we do, where if you're going to be this way, when you get to that chorus, it needs to I like a good lift. If you're not going to lift in the chorus, then you need a nice big lift in the bridge. And that's what they do on this one. Like, I feel like you got the badass riff, you got the funky ska reggae kind of verses. Chorus is catchy, but then that bridge is just so big and so bright and so pretty that you just kind of like look forward to it.
Okay, so the name of the song is Hide and Seek. And so I feel like this solo is hiding in here. And because while I do like the solo, I don't feel like the solo fits the song at all. I feel like the song has a different energy than the solo. The solo comes out of nowhere and doesn't fit in. But they still put it in. And okay, fine. You've got a solo that you really like. And I feel like they wrote the solo separate. And they're like, where are we going to put this? Let's put it in a hide and seek. They'll never find it.
You're really proud of that one, aren't you? You think you're...
I just thought of it. I am.
Yeah, you think you're pretty clever. I actually think it's funny you should say that. I don't disagree. I felt like the reason that there's like a pause between the chorus and the riff and the verse is because they don't go together super well. They sort of like staple them together with those like little pauses in between each one. But in the flow of the song, it doesn't feel unnatural. Like, I never feel like herky-jerky. Like, it feels like it's doing some cool stuff. But that's what I mean. The first time you listen to some of these songs by bands like this that do mix all these styles, the first time can be a little jarring because you don't know what they're going to do next. but then second, third, fourth listen, it's like, oh yeah, they go into this now. And so that's how I felt about the solo. And then actually, again, to sort of bridge the two different sounds, he has that extra little vocal part after the solo where it kind of goes into a different key, and that sort of gets him back to the chorus.
Countless times I tried and failed.
Even though you're right, it is a little bit like, maybe this doesn't fit perfectly.
No, it doesn't. But, as unexpected as these different parts are, and we don't know what they're going to do, what you can probably guess is that next we're going to talk about track 4, Sweet Dreams.
God does a Playdead with the universe. Do or die or pray. Whoa. Imagine that everything goes in reverse. Do or die or pray. Whoa.
All right, now my first note on this song is, what the hell is this new ska bullshit?
Yeah, so this one starts off with that real aggressive punk rock kind of sound, but then it goes into just straight 100% pure unfiltered ska for the verses.
Well, it does have like the synth line at the beginning, so I was enjoying the song up until 15 seconds. But then the song becomes, I'm going to tell you what it reminded me of. And I actually played this song for Mrs. Danger last night. And I said, I want you to hear this. And I want to tell you the descriptor I have in my head for this song. And I want you to tell me if it's right. And she said, okay. And I said, this song sounds like it should be the music for a commercial for like a new metal Six Flags.
Do you think?
And she 100% agreed.
Yes. And I want to go, and I want to be the ambassador for the brand. Yes. What's the problem here? See, that's where you and I differ, because you're speaking greatness like it's bullshit.
No, it's okay. So do you remember the old Six Flag commercial that had like the old man
yes,
like dancing?
I can hear the song in my head as you say it.
Yeah. I think it's imprinted in everybody's head of our age, and fine. But that's what this song is to me. It's almost like that was like the root of the song of what they wanted to create things around. I had a hard time with this one.
Look,
I did enjoy the scream at the end of the chorus.
If you don't think 666 flags is not shouldn't happen.
666 flags.
Oh,
that's
God.
That's interesting. That'd be a lot of flags.
Okay, so I think this is where you and I differ, because like for me, this is fun. Like it is silly. It is kind of goofy, but even the lyrics are goofy. Like this has one of my favorite lines of the whole album in it, where he says, "Don't bother me when I'm trying to wind spaghetti. 2020 was a huge nightmare, just like being killed by Freddy."
Did you get it? Don't you forget it. You bother me when I'm trying to wind spaghetti. 2020 was a huge nightmare, just like being killed by Freddy.
Like that's just like fun.
No, that is a fun lyric, and I will say that I did not pay attention to too much of the lyrics on this one. I know you told me when you originally brought this one, and I said the Japanese band, you said yes, and don't worry, all their lyrics are in English. I wasn't worried about that. I mean, what was we did an album where like half the lyrics were in Spanish or something. I don't remember.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so I really wasn't worried about that. But the album cover, the imagery and all is very, I would say, misleading for what happens here. And I'm going to be honest with you, I did not expect the new metal Six Flags theme song just crammed here in the middle of the album. Track 4. Okay, not the middle, but in the middle of it. Okay. 158.
Uh-huh.
Is unexpected for what the song has been.
Uh-huh.
I didn't hate that part. I didn't hate the bridge here, but it was just like I wasn't expecting it, especially the bells in the bridge.
Yeah, so I said
it made me think of Metallica hitting the anvil with a hammer and
So what I have in my notes is, as the song's going, I said, of course I like it 148 when it goes to halftime. I said, then at 201, we get the most ignorant metalcore breakdown I have ever heard, and it has bells in it for some reason.
Yeah. I didn't get that one at all. I don't know. This was one where I'm going to tell you, like, Bells in the Bridge is the last note that I have here because I heard that and I was like, I don't like this anymore. I don't want to be here.
I'll be honest with you. The Bells in the Bridge, I don't like that either. I do like that in the middle of this punk ska thing with the synth and the whatever has this just gnarly ass slow down breakdown. I can see many people going, this doesn't fit. Like, this isn't peanut butter and chocolate. This is peanut butter and pepperoni. I don't know. But, like, for me, as a fan of all of those things and don't have a problem with them being smashed together, I love it. I think it's great. The only thing, literally only thing about the song that I do not like is those bells.
No, this is not peanut butter and bologna or whatever it was you said.
Peanut butter and like bologna. I said pepperoni, but bologna. Oh, it's even better.
Yeah, I actually ate peanut butter and bologna when I was a kid. And it was one of those things like when I was beginning my culinary journey and I was like, I am a genius. I've created something that everybody will like. And even I hated it, but I claimed that I liked it. But
wait a minute. Before you go any further, what kind of peanut butter? Smooth or crunchy?
Smooth. You don't put crunchy on something like bologna.
I think that might have been your problem.
I do like a crunchy every once in a while, but I
prefer crunchy myself.
I don't know. The bologna was the bologna was wet, so it didn't spread very well.
That was going to be my next question. Was the bologna smooth or crunchy?
If you got crunchy bologna, something was definitely wrong. Okay. But we keep going, like, sticking with peanut butter and, like, the different things that we're trying to, compare this to and all. No, this is not peanut butter. This is taking a fried chicken leg off of the Golden Corral buffet and putting it in the chocolate fountain.
Sir. Sir. First of all, you gave me a new idea to try next time I go. And second of all, I don't think it's that bad. Like, for me, it fits. Like, yes, it is a weird pairing, but that's just their style. Like, it works for me. It is jarring the first time, but then I'm totally cool with it.
Okay, this is taking a fried chicken leg and dipping it into a bowl of jelly, like strawberry jelly.
Now, is that crunchy jelly or is it smooth?
Track 5, Die Alone.
Stuck in a hole like you don't care. Sorry for you, I won't be there. Time, locked in time. Can't sacrifice my life for you.
Crunchy jelly. That's gross.
It's got fruit in it.
Anyway. All right. Is your fruit crunchy? I don't know. I'm done with that. I'm done with that imagery. Okay. Where did this come from? I was not expecting this opening riff here. It was one of those things where I was like, what happened here? The riff is fun. I feel like the bass is just working damn overtime on this song. It's not any flashy bits. I think he gets a nugget or two within this song, but he's just holding firm. Where did this song come from?
That's what I mean. Like, there's nothing that, like, first time through, everything will surprise you because you never know where they're going to go. But that's just what SiM does. Like, nothing's off limits. If we want to start this song with a kick-ass riff to go into this punk rock sound to this, like, pretty much just straight up heavy metal verse with the screaming and the riff into a nice, bright, catchy chorus, I mean, yeah.
I need SiM to simmer down. I don't know. Like, they're just kind of all over the place to where it's like, this track is a track that talks about what I've talked about so many times where they do something that I like and then suddenly they're doing something I don't like. I thoroughly enjoyed this entire song except for the whoa-ohs. I know I'm not going to do it to the actual.
Get up.
This one, so that's like more of those gang vocals, which I think really fits with this kind of a song.
No, and I know that that's kind of the connective tissue to the rest of the album and all, and that's fine. I know why it's there, but it was like, I liked everything outside of that. This song, with his vocals, sounded like if Billy Talent wrote a metalcore song.
I won't disagree with you that this one does vocally have that Billy Talent sound. Honestly, musically, even to an extent. Maybe not so much the more metalcore verses where he's screaming, but like that opening riff has a little bit of that vibe to it. And I actually thought you might appreciate this song for another reason. We talk about this on other songs. There's no bridge.
Yeah, that was actually my next note. Like, I don't feel like there was a bridge here.
Don't need it.
Yeah, it did need it. And I don't have the times on these songs as far as how long they are and all, but I feel like this one was just kind of I feel like overall these songs are kind of tight and short, but I feel like this was just kind of what it needed to be.
Yeah, this is actually the shortest. It's, outside of that first intro song, whatever, it's only 2:17.
Yeah, that's not long. I feel like that's probably their sweet spot.
Yeah.
But, that's just me. And, I mean, do you make a song shorter? You have less time for reggae.
To the unrefined palate, I guess that's fine. But for me, keep it going.
Track 6, Too Late.
Leave us alone. This is how we do what you wouldn't do. Too late, too late.
The intro here, it's just fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's not great. It's nothing that's going to blow your mind. It's just fun.
Agreed. And I actually like how it goes into that first verse where you keep the intensity, but it's clean guitar and clean vocal. I think that was a smart move. You keep the aggression from the song before, but you just kind of like do it in like a prettier way almost.
Don't blame yourself. It's like an accident.
Yeah, and this was actually one of the places where I was talking about before where I feel like there was a different vocal, and I feel like his vocal tone is so different here. He almost sounds like a different vocalist. Now, I don't know if another person that is labeled as a backup vocalist steps up to the microphone and takes lead on this one, or if that's just him changing it up.
That's just him.
But I don't know.
And then, of course, I
don't know. I liked his vocal tone.
Yeah, and then, of course, I love that the chorus goes halftime. So we've got...
I knew you'd love that. I know you love your halftime.
This is how we do what you wouldn't do.
So this song is doing a lot of stuff that I really enjoy. And then it just keeps getting better for me as the song goes on.
Okay, so at 125, we do get a digital stutter. And we haven't heard it yet, and it kind of mixes it up, and it's like, oh, well, this interesting little bit there, and that's the production you were talking about, or the
little auto-tune on his vocal.
Auto-tune.
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you for the word. Yeah, and it was more like, okay, well, that's cool. 146, we get a great little guitar line. Like, this goes into what you were talking about before. At 2 minutes, we get a breakdown, but it's like a two-step breakdown. It's like a happy, angry breakdown.
And
it's almost like I can like feel the dancing within it, where it's like you just kind of like, two-step into it. And I don't know. I thought it was fun.
And I knew it was going to go into something heavy. Like, you could just kind of like feel it going that direction. But again, a couple songs ago, you had that super slow chug. So here, instead of repeating that move, like you said, they go into that like hardcore two-step. And I just think, again, the fact that this song is under 3 minutes, it's 2:41, and it has all of these little parts. But again, I don't feel like they do any of them too long or too short. Like, it feels right. Like, I wouldn't want that two-step to go on too much longer. It's same with that really pretty section in the middle that I like a lot. If that went on too much longer, it'd get dull,
Mm-hmm. And I mean, this was not one that I thought was a fantastic song. I just feel like every part of the song is solid, and they do mix it up by throwing in that digital stutter to us. And I don't know. I thought the two-step breakdown was a lot of fun. In fact, I feel like two-step breakdown is a term that we need to use more often.
I think it just needs to be implemented more often. I feel like every single like metalcore band now has to do the same sounding breakdowns. Bring some of this back.
Yeah, bring this back, but less reggae.
Speaking of which, God, I can't wait to talk about this next song.
Let's talk about it. So, track 7, Kiss of Death.
Can anybody hear me? I got get away now.
Go ahead. You tell me. You tell me what you think.
Things were so good in the beginning. I really genuinely enjoy the intro to the song. And then it's almost like for no reason it goes reggae. Like there's no logical reason for it.
She's the only one who knows the taste of my blood.
Dude.
This is, I've complained about this several times already, but this is one where I had to put the note down that this is one of the weirdest songs on this entire album, because I had trouble even taking notes on this because just when they were doing something that I did like that I wanted to take a note about, they switched before I could even get the statement out typed on my keyboard, and they start doing something I don't like. And I don't know why this song is here. I don't know why this song exists. I do not like this song. This is my least favorite song off of this entire album.
And it's my favorite song off of this album. I love this shit. I love it.
Yeah.
It's like mixing a horror punk band with it's like mixing Left Hand Black with a Sublime verse and then this $1 million Play to the Rafters chorus that just soars.
Can anybody hear me? I got get away now. Anybody hear me?
Yes.
It does get stuck in your head, I will say that. Yeah.
That chorus is money in the bank. Oh, and then just because Monster's here, we're going to throw in some new metal chugs and bounce too. We're not going to leave without doing some of that too. God, this song rules.
Yeah, they had to give a little new metal chug breakdown, and it's almost like the breakdown, like you almost kind of know it's coming. And it's similar to what we talked about on the Pretty Wild, where it's like you like, it almost becomes formulaic at a certain point. And I kind of feel like that's what it is at this point. But on track 7, it was so like so many changes.
So you've got these cool choruses, and then at 3 minutes.
No, do you have cool choruses? Do you?
Yes. On this song, yes, absolutely. I mean, as much as I love, I don't know. I can't say the chorus is my favorite part. I love so much about this song. But so after the big chorus, you get that like mid-tempo riff at 3 minutes that I think is really cool. And then at 3:11, you get this huge lift into a bridge. That's what I'm saying. Like, not only do you have a big $1 million chorus, but then you have a bridge that can still kick it up another notch. I think is just, I mean, that's just a songwriting like flair that a lot of rock bands just don't, they're not capable of doing it. And so the fact that SiM has done it on multiple times on this album, I get that you wouldn't like this because it is so heavy reggae influence, but I mean, for me, it totally works. And I've said this before too. I like it when a band recognizes that they got like a cool riff or like a cool little segment that they'll end the song with that. I love that they go back to that heavy groovy bounce to end the song with it.
I'm glad you like it.
I knew you would hate this song. I was so excited. Because honestly, personally, if you said, hey, show me a song by SiM, this would be on a short list of songs that I would start with. Because if you don't like this, you're probably not going to like SiM, because this has a lot of what they do as full blast as they do it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, no, it is full blast, Sim. Let's talk about track 8, Sad Song.
Life will end. Something we can never end. Cheer on.
Or Danger's theme song.
Okay, so when I originally checked out the track listing here, I saw this and I thought, I need to listen to that just because I'm very curious about it. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I don't love this song.
Sure.
I don't. But I really like this song purely from an ironic standpoint because the chorus is sad song. And like he says, sad song.
Sad song.
I don't know. The boy band vocals in this one just kind of threw me off a little bit. I know I said that. I know I said that when Juliana Theory was one of my favorite, or is one of my favorite albums. But Emotion is Dead from Juliana Theory.
Sure.
Anyway, I like this song almost just because it's ridiculous that it's here, and I felt like they were writing a song with the title "Sad Song" with the line "Sad Song" in it. I really wish I had gone and listened to the lyrics more, read the lyrics and whatnot, because I just feel like this one is funny.
If you read the lyrics, there is definitely some humor here. They as we've seen, they don't mind being a little bit funny. Like there's a line in here about cats are fighting in my room again.
Don't you see the flowers blooming? Cats are fighting in my room again.
Cheer on, shit on, growing old together. Yeah.
Cheer on, shit on, growing all together, yeah.
There's even one part where I'm trying to pull it up. Yeah, this part. He says, capture all the joy in photographs and share it. I like the way she laughs. Hashtag best friends forever. And you hear him in the background go, whatever.
Capture all the joy in photographs and share it. I like the way she laughs. Hashtag best friends forever. Na na na. Whatever. Na na na.
Yeah, and like that to me is funny. I don't specifically like sad emo music, but I did like that time frame of music. Yep. But I also really enjoy poking fun at that time frame.
And that's
music.
What it feels like to me. Is it feels like it's almost like someone said, guys, you need like a slow down song on the album. So they said, we need a sad song, and then they just kind of like went with it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a great song, but I appreciate the song for that reason.
It's not necessarily one of my absolute favorites, but I really do like it. And I think the only parts that I don't love, the bridge to me doesn't wow me. Like this would, like for as much as I've been praising the bridges on some of these songs, this one just doesn't lift quite high enough.
It's because it's sad. It's a sad song.
Fair enough. That is a fair point. But this is where we get the full chicken leg. At 123, there is this little bass solo that is just, I mean, perfection. No notes. Such a cool little bass line.
Yeah, and this was before I even came up with the bass nugget terminology, and all that. I said the bass has a fun part at 124 because our times are very rarely ever the same.
Okay, so here's something funny I discovered. If I am playing something on my phone, but I have Spotify pulled up on my computer, if I start them at the exact same time, they're still wrong. I don't know why this is happening to me. I'm sorry. It's
okay. No. I really don't care about it being a second off. I think I know why, because you're connected Bluetooth to your phone, right? Like headphones to your phone?
Versus just plugging directly into the computer?
Right. And when you have headphones Bluetooth to your phone, there's a delay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It happens in my car all the time. Yeah, and I had the same thing for when I've got my heavies connected to my phone and I'm listening to it that way. Which I'm going to go tell you, I didn't listen to this in headphones.
You're missing out. This is a really good one.
Am I?
Yeah. This, for the way we like to enjoy music, I think you are, because there's a lot of layers in this, and there is some nuance that will definitely you're going to get the energy, you're going to get the enthusiasm, but you're going to miss some of the little things in the background. I mean, it's not going to like enough to change your score or anything like that, but I do think this is actually a pretty good headphone record.
All right, track 9, BBT.
They show up and give us a glass of water. When we find an oasis at last, they don't concern about future, only care about things of the past. Don't know what you mean, don't know what
You know what?
The intro on this one is fun. No, I don't know BBT.
Well, no, I was going to say, do you know what he's saying? Those first lines of the song?
I don't.
He says, "Wake up, take a shit, smoke, caffeine, take a shower." That's what he's saying.
Oh no, okay. So I remember like listening to it like and playing it over again, and I remember thinking that sounds like a bad translation of like like English morning routine. Like, you know, I remember thinking that, going, "Oh, that's kind of funny."
Yeah, so I don't think it's necessarily a bad translation. I think he's just trying to get like all of it in, and smoke a cigarette, drink a cup of coffee, take a shower was too long. So he just says, smoke, caffeine, take a shower. And then he ends it by screaming, "It's effing boring." So I thought that was pretty cool.
No, that's just kind of what I thought of it as. And it made me think of those people that, you know, have like Chinese character tattoo, Japanese character, whatever. And it's like, it's always like a bad translation of whatever. And then, like I've seen jokes where it's like, you know, Chinese people get English words tattooed on them. And it just, yeah. So anyway, I am good with the vocal tone and rhythm in the verse.
Hypocrites all say there's a border. This generation is governed by disorder.
But I don't love the verse. I don't love the verse. Like I appreciate the humor of that first line, but I don't love the verse. Now I will say the chorus on this one does get stuck in your head.
The chorus is good. The chorus reminds me, talking about his vocals, reminds me a lot of M. Shadows from Avenged Sevenfold. That same kind of like nasal, but not whiny. Like it's up in his nose, but he doesn't sound like a whiny bitch. Like he sounds like he still has balls.
Time to get back to where we belong. Get out your soaring a gun. They can't tell us what to do.
So I like that. I bet you hate the second verse, right?
So, okay, I don't love the second verse by any means, but what I didn't like is that after the chorus, it's like they set me up for not liking it because they do this surf rock guitar line that's just unnecessary. And they go into a second verse where I'm like, I don't need any of this here.
I love how we are. I love this. We were meant to do this. What do you mean it doesn't need to be there? Of course it doesn't need to be there. They do it because it's fun and it's weird and wacky and like, yeah, they do it because why not put a surf guitar in the middle of this shit? I get that it feels weird, and if you don't like it, you don't like it. But for me, it's like, yeah, well, why not do that? We haven't done that yet, have we? Sure.
No, we haven't had surf rock. We've had surf rock guitar, like adjacent guitar.
Yes.
lines, but not surf rock.
So,
okay. Go
but
on.
then after the next chorus at 2:11, when we get that part,
It's boring. Fucking boring.
that's cool. And then the part after that at 2:33 is something I think is really cool that you probably don't like.
Okay, you're referencing the growl in the bridge.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So the first part, it
is a nice touch.
Yeah.
But then I don't like after the bridge because they have to reggae it up.
It goes super reggae. And
Oh, yeah.
again, if you don't like reggae, you're not going to like that. But you can at least appreciate that funky ass bass. He is killing it in that section.
No, he is. The bass is solid on this album, but I don't know. It was like I appreciated the bass, but I didn't enjoy the bass. Like, I appreciated what he was doing. I didn't like anything that was going on. I don't know. The reggae parts just make me hate what's going on.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, if you don't like reggae and you don't like ska at all, you're going to struggle for a lot of parts on this. But
I'm struggling.
Yeah, that's fair. But nah, for me, this is a lot of fun. This is another one of my favorites on the album.
All right, track 10, Do the Dance.
We all die in the end. Just be yourself once again.
Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. When this one first came on, I had a moment of like, oh shit, is Spotify skipping? Because that intro just sounds like things are skipping and things are going wrong. And like, if I had a pair of cargo pants and there was a Discman in them, it would have been skipping.
Yeah.
But, and specifically cargo pants.
Well,
or the elephant trunk Jinkos. Yeah.
Either way, they were designed with Discmans in mind.
That's the cargo that we carried was Discman.
Yes.
So, yeah. All right. I feel like this one is if the Hippos tried to write a metalcore song. And I'm not here for it.
Yeah, well, I am, because this is another one that's a lot of fun. This is not one of my favorites on the album, but this is another one that the lyrics are very funny. So, like, for example, the first verse, it says, if you really want to know how to dance, stop listening to shitty rock bands. When you go on a trip to the city of romance, practice taking off your pants as fast as you can. You look like John Lennon taking a bite of lemon.
If you really wanna know how to dance, stop listening to shitty rock bands. When you go on a trip to the city of romance, practice taking off your pants as fast as you can. You look like John Lennon taking a bite of lemon.
Like, I don't know what any of that means, but it makes me laugh every time.
The no pants dance is a fun dance. Sure. Okay. So I think the best part of this entire song is the riff after the chorus.
Yeah, it is a fun riff. I do like the riff on this song. That it's not a direct lift, but it's very similar to a Korn riff. Again, mostly in that tone. Like, it sounds like the guitar tone from Issues. The album by Korn, not the band Issues. But
yeah.
I dig it. Like, I really dig it. But again, you've got that. You mentioned the thing about it stuttering or skipping. The first time every time I hear the first dun 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 dun, it reminds me of System of a Down. But then you get the like synthy line in there, which puts it in a different direction. Super ska punk kind of verse, and then chorus is fast. It's punk, but it is catchy. And then, you go into that new metal riff just to break up the speed of everything. I get it. I know it's like super like wackadoodle, but I don't know. It just works for me. Like, I know it feels kind of funky, but I love it. I love it. The one thing I don't love about the song, though, is you have that countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Now, I know we've kind of hit sort of a repetitive thing where you're expecting like a metalcore breakdown. So the fact that they don't do that, they go into this like upbeat dancey thing instead. 3, 2, 1, go! Is kind of interesting, but if you're going to have a countdown like that, I expect to get pummeled, and you don't really.
No, you don't. All right, track 11, Not So Weak.
Yeah, I'm not so strong, but I'm not so weak. I'm gonna stand up and fight with tears.
This one starts big, real big. It's not angry, but it's fun.
Yeah.
That riff is a lot of fun. This is where I started going, okay, maybe the back part of this album, the last part of it was going to be good. But then 17 Seconds happens, and that intro was so misleading.
Well, you say misleading, but I think by track 11, you've come to realize that we're going to do heavy riffs into some like wacky beats. Like that's not, it's not that misleading.
I think, misleading may be in the wrong term there. It's that my hopes were dashed.
Okay. What I will say is this doesn't necessarily have like a reggae beat. This has more of like a salsa merengue.
Punk. Well, okay.
The verse. Like, yeah, it starts more kind of like just heavy riff, kind of punk vibe. But then that beat is almost more of like, I don't know if it's in 3/4, but it has more of like a salsa swing kind of to it than just straight up reggae, because it doesn't have that same kind of hits on the 2s and 4s. It's got a little bit more of a sway to it that I again, track 11 on your 13-track album, and we're trying something else kind of fits, but it's also different.
Something I thought of. Well, that was something I thought about this because it's track 11. It's not a long song, but I do feel like they do pack quite a bit into it. And while I didn't like after 17 seconds, it was kind of like, okay, the drums are different here, and this is fun. And then we get a fun solo at 56 seconds.
Yep, I've got that too. I like that section a lot. I also like the interesting thing about this one is the verses are not slow, but the chorus is actually sped up. So it's almost like the opposite of so many songs kind of in this vibe where you have like a fast kind of punk rock sort of verse into a mid-tempo big chorus. It's almost the opposite. The chord progression in the chorus does kind of lift, but it is more in like punk rock kind of beat.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but you're right. It is kind of a backwards thing from what we're used to.
Now, I will say the breakdown that happens on this song.
Mm-hmm.
It is one of my least favorite quote unquote breakdowns.
Okay, I have a question for you on that, on your breakdown.
Okay.
What time do you have on the breakdown?
Well, I have the part that I wanted to bring up is right before the breakdown at 1:58.
I'm gonna sit down in a coffin and drink a cup of coffee, motherfucker.
Oh, when the song should have ended?
So that's what I mean. I do not think the actual breakdown is all that great, but I have got to give a shout out at 1:58 to possibly the best call out I've ever heard before a breakdown, where he says, "I'm going to sit down on your coffin and drink a cup of coffee, mother effer."
I'm gonna sit down in a coffin and drink a cup of coffee, motherfucker.
What in the unhinged nonsense is that?
I do know what you're talking about, and that it was a moment where I went, huh, why? Like, is my funeral in the morning? What are we doing? Yeah, I don't know. I do feel like this song should have ended at like 155, 158, like in that range. And I say that because it does kind of fade out, but then it fades out into that bass working it again. And that's the only thing that carries it into the breakdown. So I feel like the bridge on this was a fade out to a bass line to a breakdown. And it just felt so awkward to me that everything that happened after that felt like a different song entirely. And it felt like it was a nugget of another song where they were like, you know what? Not so weak. It's not long enough. We have to do something else in it. And it was like, hey, that other thing that we were working on for a while, I feel like that would be a good thing to tag onto here. And we're going to connect it with a bass.
I don't necessarily feel like it feels out of place. It just feels almost like, sort of like some of these other songs where it's like, it doesn't have a bridge. Well, this one's like verse, chorus, ending piece, which, you know, I'm used to hearing that a lot of times because, like, I've mentioned this before. 311 will do that sometimes, where it's literally just verse, chorus, and then we have this last little section at the end of the song. That's what it felt like to me. It just felt like they had this, you know, kind of funky, dancey verse, fast punk chorus. Let's just cap this off with something at the end. And they decided to go with this breakdown. I don't love the breakdown. I wish it, like, with that call out before it about sitting on the coffin drinking coffee, like, I wish it went into something that just, like, knocked my teeth in. It doesn't really. Like, it's fine, but that call out is too funny not to, like, shine a light on.
It is, it is funny. It's a funny moment within it. But, I don't know, at 155... I don't know, 155 to 158. I mean, it just, again, because it does fade out, it's kind of hard to pinpoint that exact time.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just felt like the song was done at that point. And, you know, I hate a false ending, but then for you to do a false ending for something else that's just not needed and doesn't fit the song that was there. I don't know. I was just kind of done with that one. That one kind of just, it didn't sit right with me overall.
That's fine. Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Track 12, Under the Tree, full length version. I did not go see, I did not try to find the alternate version of Under the Tree. I guess the short version or the EP version. I don't know. Do you know why it's called the full length version?
I don't. Looking at Spotify, it doesn't say that, so I didn't notice that. But I think we can all agree that this is kind of the end of the album. Like, there is another track, but this is pretty much like the last real song here.
Right. And so I do have just a couple things on the last song, but this does feel like an ending because this doesn't feel like anything else on the album. And I don't know. It's so cinematic and grand. It just, I don't know. It's so different.
Yeah. So I actually put, there's some things that I like, but this does feel a little, it makes sense as a closer. It does have sort of more orchestral cinematic vibes, which again is why I think it works well as a closer. But it still does enough little things to connect it to the rest of the album, especially that like 255 where we start to kind of like bring it down and you can tell it's building up to something. And then at 307, see, I kind of wish that little breakdown in Not So Weak was more like this, because this sounds more like Korn or, you know, other new metal kind of bounce. It doesn't have that sludgy metalcore thing. It's just, you know, chuggy, which I kind of like.
So I feel like the breakdown does work with the song. I don't feel like the bridge works with the song. It felt very forced to me. It's almost like the bridge just didn't need to be there.
I'm here so we don't need to talk. I'm here so we don't need to talk.
Because what was happening before, it was really good. I actually genuinely like this last song.
Yeah.
Except for that bridge at 255.
Well,
I don't know. It just felt very forced.
What's crazy to me is if you look at their top songs, their most popular songs, this is one of them. And yeah, and for me, this is not a really good representation of the band. I don't think it's a bad song. I just don't think it's...
No, if the rest of the album had sounded like this, I would have given it a better score.
Yeah, if the rest of the album sounded like this, I'd be very bored. Like, that's like,
yeah.
Of course, it has that cinematic thing. As a matter of fact, I was kind of thinking that I was like, man, I bet Danger will like this one because so many of these bands you've brought recently have that kind of like a lot of strings and a lot of like that kind of production surrounding the songs.
I'm sorry. I like things to be grand and good. I like for things to be, I don't know, the string instruments lift you up and, you know.
Sure.
But I mean, hell, you're the one here that brought the only album that has a sad song on it, literally named Sad Song.
Yeah, and I thought you would like it more than you did. I'm surprised.
Musically, you know, the song itself, I didn't love the song. I like that one from the ironic standpoint of things.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know. I liked Under the Tree, except for that bridge. That's what I'll say.
And I didn't like Under the Tree, except for that bridge. That's what I'll say.
Okay. So, all right. Do have track 13, even though track 12 closed out the proper album, because track 13 does show up on Spotify, and it's the orchestra version of it. And I came to find out that the rumbling.
Never look away. If I lose it all, lose it all, lose it all. If I lose it all outside the wall, it's a dark.
Like showed up in video games different points. It was in an anime. I don't know. It kind of got around a bit. I think it was the first track that they actually released for this album. I didn't take down all the notes, and I should have done a better job there. I didn't do my job.
You're fine. It is the I don't know exactly the correct terminology. It's the theme song for Attack on Titan.
Yeah, that's right.
Final season part 2 or something. I'm sorry, I don't watch anime. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yes, it was the theme song for that.
Yeah, it's okay.
And that's why it is so popular and people like it so much. This particular version, the actual song sounds a lot like SiM. Like it is, I think they wrote it for the show, so it is a little bit different. But this is like they pull all of the like rock music down, and it's just like the orchestral score way on top of everything.
Oh yeah, I actually have the note at the end of this song. There's this screaming on top of the pretty part that Monster hates all the time. Does Monster hate it?
Yeah, I don't like this. I mean, I listened to it once, like all the way through, and then kind of skip through it a couple times. But no, like to me, this is like everybody knows this song because it's, you know, because it is from a very popular anime show. And so they were like, well, we'll put this other version of it, just tack it on the end here. Because if you look, there's other versions of this song too. There's like multiple versions of this song.
There are.
So this to me is like, they just kind of slapped it on the end here. Like this doesn't connect to the rest of the album. This doesn't really close out the album. So yeah, I didn't care for it.
No, and that's fine. I mean, I don't know. To me, I liked it, but I didn't love it. I feel like it should have been bigger overall, but that's just me.
Yeah, the actual version, if you care to hear it, is a little bit more along the lines of the album. Like it's honestly a little bit more like Under the Tree, because it does have the cinematic scope a little bit more. So it's just not so overpowering like it is on this version.
All right, and with that, Monster, I'm going to ask you a question. What's new with you?
Hey, hey, good looking. What you got? Cooking.
We keep saying there's a lot of new metal in a lot of these songs, but if I had to pick one that I think is like the most quote unquote new, I would say Red.
That's fine.
I think it still has some of the reggae and some of the like punk moments, but overall he's got that heavy ass riff. The verses, he's kind of rapping a little bit more so than he does in some of the other songs. It's got a nice huge chorus. So yeah, I would say Red. I think Red is the most new. And Danger, what's cooking?
So I think probably the best song to cook to on this one is Under the Tree. And partially because I probably like that song the best off of this album.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. All right. So I feel like, we've kind of gotten into a groove of trying to go out on a positive note.
Yeah.
So I feel like you're probably going to want me to go first.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I'm not going to be as positive as you.
I know you're not going to be as positive. I am dying to know what the number ends up being.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I have moved my number around a little bit in this conversation. And I actually did that while I was listening to this. And part of it's because they do so many things that I like, but then they do so many things I don't like. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the things that I don't like hurt it. And that's where I've ended up on my score.
Okay. And
that's what it is. All right. If metalcore had a baby with reggae, it would be an ugly baby and it would sound better than this album. SiM has recorded an identity crisis. I feel like these boys in Japan listen to different types of popular music in America and then decided to smash things together. There is a reason that metal festivals have a lack of ponchos and dreadlocks, and this album highlights every bit of it. This one had plenty of spots that I did enjoy, but unfortunately, I just don't like reggae. And its little brother ska, I don't like that one much either. And there's just a little bit too much of that on this one. And then at the end of the album, out of nowhere, we get a Hans Zimmer metal baby. And this baby, I want to adopt it. I gave it a 4.87.
I'll be honest. That's not as bad as I thought it would be.
I wonder, I feel like maybe you thought I was going to come in the threes. I don't know. Anyway.
After some of the disrespectful scores you've thrown out there, I didn't know what to expect.
All right, Monster, give us yours.
I've always been a fan of bands that can combine multiple styles and genres and make it into their own distinct sound. SiM is one of those bands, and on their album Playdead, you can hear all those styles coming together cohesively to form an upbeat album with a lot of fun moments. There's new, there's punk, there's dancehall, there's thrash. Hell, there's even a bunch of ska and reggae, but nothing ever feels out of place. Every style is implemented with confidence. The lyrics are also a good balance of serious topics and tongue-in-cheek humor. I don't think this is a perfect album, but I think it's a lot of fun. It does have emotional moments, but the vibes are up and it puts me in a good mood. I find myself humming melodies and singing parts of the lyrics to myself often. If you're a fan of bands that are unique, heavy, maybe a little quirky, but have a sound all their own, if you're not familiar with SiM, you might want to dig into their discography. 1 to 10, I said 8.06.
I had my finger on the 8.
Yes.
I had a feeling you were going to go 8.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. You know me so well.
So, Monster gave SiM Playdead an 8.06, and I gave it a 4.87, which puts it into the 54th position, just below A Day to Remember Homesick, and right above This Wildlife Everblossom. Oh, sorry. It gives an overall average of 6.465.
So, A Day to Remember wouldn't be that weird. They don't fit perfect, but you could kind of make a case for it. This Wildlife, absolutely.
I feel like they at a festival, maybe.
At a festival, all three of these could coexist. Not too in close proximity, but they could all be there.
I feel like that festival would be called the Blender because they're just throwing all the shit in and...
Yeah, it's called Coachella.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. All right. If you disagree with the score that we have given this album, then please send us an email at breakdownsbreakfast@gmail.com or head on over to one of our social media platforms, Facebook, X, or Instagram. Let us know what you thought about this episode, or let us know if there's an album that you would like for us to give the breakdowns treatment to in the future.
And huge thanks to everybody who's been tuning in lately. It seems like the numbers continue to go up, and it makes us feel really good inside. And that's why I end us in such a bad way, like I will tonight, with this beauty. Danger. What are twins' favorite fruit?
What?
Pears.